10 races down, 10 races to go as the ARCA Menards Series heads to Indianapolis Raceway Park. Brendan Butterbean Queen has been the king of the first half and finds himself top of the pile with 4 wins. But that will be put to the test by a field of rising stars eager to demolish his crown and pave their own road to a championship. Wild restarts, side-by-side racing, late race drama will all push these drivers to the edge. It's 10 down, 10 to go. The second half of the season starts right now.
Welcome to Indianapolis Raceway Park, about 14 miles west of downtown Indy. It's the Calypso 150 presented by Dutch Boy. Kicking off the second half of the ARCA Menards Series season with 34 cars set to start, our largest field of the season. Hi, everybody. Glad you're along. Brent Stover alongside Phil Parsons, Trevor Bain as well. We start, as we often do, with Brendan Butterbean Queen, the points leader, coming off that win in the 28 car at Dover last week.
I don't think we can talk about Brendan Queen in that 28 car without mentioning the 18 car. Since the beginning of the 2024 season, the 30 races we've had, these 2 cars have won 23 of those 30 races. And oh, by the way, to add a little kicker to it, Brendan Queen's going to have a teammate. Connor Mozak is going to drive the second car, so I think they're going to double up on that 18 car. But all 3 cars were fastest in practice. They were the fastest 3 cars, so they're going to be strong here tonight.
Yeah, Phil, well, that's the contenders. Let's talk about this racetrack they're about to go and battle it out on. A short track. Our front 2 are obviously short track racers, but this track is challenging because it makes you have to manipulate the car at every point of the corner. You're always challenging all 4 tires. You get into the corner, you're kind of sliding the nose, waiting on it to cut. When it finally does turn, now you're battling rear grip. And the other thing is you've got to battle the guy that's racing side by side with you as you try to fight for leverage, hold him down on exit, maybe make his rear tire spin a little bit more than yours as you're battling it out.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and we talk about it all the time on this track. Restarts are wild. The Calypso 150 presented by Dutch Boy, starting grid, and because of lightning in the area throughout the day, qualifying was canceled. They did practice. Butterbean Queen was fastest in practice, but Phil, he won the pole based on owner's points.
Yeah, this is a combination race with the East Series, so that's why this starting lineup is a little bit jumbled because we have owner points from the East Series as well as the National Series.
You know, Trevor, we talked about 34 cars. It's not often we get a field nearly this size in the ARCA Menards Series.
No, and when you get 34, 33 cars on a track this size, it gets really congested really quick, so we can see these leaders having to battle with some lap traffic fairly early on in this race. That'll change things up, but we have a lot of contenders here. Really strong field tonight.
As we just touched on, the General Tire Pole Award winner, Butterbean Queen, 4 wins on the season, enters the night leading the ARCA Menards Series in points.
Yeah, he's been just phenomenal. As you mentioned, 4 wins already this year, competitive each and every race. This is a guy that had such a strong short track background, but he's getting it done on all sorts of racetracks, Daytona and Michigan, places like that.
Oh, and right away, Phil, we see a risky move here. It looks like he's chosen the top for this restart. We talked about leverage and having to battle. It's going to allow Brent Cruz to be on his inside.
And Brent Cruz needs a bounce-back weekend because last week he was going to be probably the top contender for the 28, but in the first half of that race, blew a tire, ended up in the wall, and his car was on fire, and his day ended plenty early.
Yeah, he's the only driver that was in the same zip code as Butterbean. Once he fell out, there was really no contenders that could actually match the speed of that 28 car.
Well, and while we roll around here, guys, it's a good time to kind of check out these lanes and these seams that you see, those black seams in between each layer of asphalt. The banking really changes on this track as you change between lanes, so you'll see the drivers maybe enter in one lane, slide up through that seam, and when you get your tires on that black filler that you see there from this shot, it can really get slick. You can slide around a lot.
This is one of the first racetracks that I ever went to that actually has progressive banking, and it's visual. You can see how flat it is down on the bottom of the racetrack, and you'll see guys that'll be down there next to that grass trying to make moves or whatever, but it's so hard to get the throttle down and keep that forward momentum up off the corner from that flatter part of the racetrack.
So 4 of the drivers have already been on the track today, not just for 20 minutes of practice in the ARCA Menards Series, but they practice for the trucks as well, doing double duty here today and tonight It's Cruz, Queen, Connor Mozak, Cody Dennison, all will run the truck race later on tonight as well. So a busy day and night for those 4 drivers. Now, normally this has been a 200-lap race, but down to 150 this season. We'll see how that affects things as they get it going. There's Dennison, Brent Cruz, Brendan Queen, and Connor Mozak.
We're going to have a race break on or around lap 75 to give these teams an opportunity to make adjustments and change tires.
About set to do it here at Indianapolis Raceway Park off turn 4. Picking up speed at the start finish under green here in Indianapolis.
See Brent Cruz firing down in there. He wants to stay side by side with Butterbean to try to get that lead early. Brendan does a nice job on his launch and the exit of turn 2 there to get the lead.
If you're going to make the inside work, now is the time to do it on those new tires. But look at the Lawless Allen holding Brent Cruz down.
He's another guy that needs to bounce back. Blew a tire early and got behind on laps last week at Dover. So Lawless Allen out there starting with a vengeance.
We talk about slide jobs, and this is one of the places that you can do a slide job. You don't have to be on dirt to do a slide job. You can do it right here.
Well, Phil, you talked about those new tires on these cars. Those don't last very long at this racetrack. It chews tires up. A lot of lap time fall off as we see Brent Cruz clear for second. Very important for him. Every lap you spin on the bottom is a lap that just really chews up those tires. As I mentioned, it slows you down later in the run, so good thing he's got clear now.
Yeah, these tires aren't new anymore, by the way. We're on lap number 3.
Butterbean Queen led start to finish every lap at Dover in the victory, his 4th of the season last week, and he's at the point early on in this one. Lap number 3 of 150 here at IRP. It's Butterbean Queen, Brent Cruz, and Lawless Allen in that blue number 20 car.
Lawless coming off a bit of a tough break last week at Dover. He finished outside the top 10. He had a streak of 4 third-place finishes in a row going into that race.
Same for LeVar Scott. He had 16 straight top 10s going into the weekend. He blew a tire early, finished outside the top 10. He's running 5th early on here today.
Really like the way that 20 car of Lawless Allen looks. Splitter stays really sealed up. Car looks nice on exit as we see a battle here. The 97, Kitzmiller for 4th.
Yeah, Kitzmiller's going to grab that spot. That young man has really done a fine job. Had a great 4th place finish. That's actually his dad right there, Jason, in the 97. Isaac is in the 79.
Yeah, Isaac Kitzmiller running 4th early on, so he top 5 last week, and he leads the ARCA East. As an early caution here, issues with the 85 car.
Becca Monopoly, unfortunately, looks like it's going to be a terminal issue for her.
36 years of age from Lakeland, Florida. Best career finish twice. She has finished 11th, but a disappointing start here at IRP.
Yeah, she was 11th at Berlin earlier this year with a fine effort, but as you mentioned, it'll be a tough start here.
One of 6 females in this 34-car field here today. First caution, lap number 8 in the ARCA Menards Series, race number 11 of the season, as the 85 goes up in smoke. Race number 11 of the ARCA Menards Series, season the Calypso 150, presented by Dutch Boy. Earlier today, a beautiful photo op. 6 female drivers in the field tonight, tied for the most all-time in a single race. And with that, for the first time today, we head down to pit road and say good evening to Caitlin Vincey.
Well, good evening, guys. One of those females, of course, is series regular Isabella Robusto, who told me she loves short track racing, crediting it to her late model background. She's on a streak right now of 5 top 10 performances. But what about Quinn Davis? She is once again in the field. She had very respectable performances at both Nashville and Elko. She is with the series once again. And so too is Cars Tour standout Lainey Weiss. I talked with Lainey earlier today. She's had 2 top 10 performances in her 3 ARCA starts so far this year, says she loves coming over to the series because of how welcoming they are to new talent. Now we check in with our other broadcast friend here on the show and say hello to Amanda Busick.
Hey, Caitlin, in that photo op on the bottom right-hand side, let's say hello to 21-year-old Regina Servant from Mexico City. She was introduced to racing from her grandfather, Jose, who was a rally driver champion in the 1970s. And then we have also in the number 7 tonight, Cadence Davenport from Iowa. She entered into a race at 6 years old and got hit, went into the Raw, and said she wanted to be a racer ever since. Wants people to know that she is a small town girl with big dreams, guys.
Awesome. Good job, Amanda. Caitlin, thank you. Back under green off our first caution. Unfortunately, that caution brought out by the 85, one of the 6 women, Becca Monopoly, and her day is done early.
Bad restart for Isaac Kitzmiller, who started 4th, did not get going, has lost a couple spots.
Butterbean on the outside. Brent Cruz underneath, trying to take the lead for the first time on the day for the 18 car, but it's back to the point for Butterbean.
Yeah, Brendan did a great job there. Exactly what he needed to do to kind of hold that 18 down like we talked about. Did not allow him to slide up the racetrack and point the car off for the exit. When you can't slide up a lane in the middle, it kills your 4th drive. You just cannot get the throttle down. So Brendan doing a really good job defending the lead there.
This is a challenging track, right, Trevor?
It is. It's just very low grip, very high entry speed, and that makes your timing tough as you release brake, as you try to manipulate the car. You can change the way it drives. If you're loose in here, if you're tight in, you can do things as a driver, unlike a lot of tracks where you just have to cue up the mic and say, hey, crew chief, fix it. Here you have some options behind the wheel. Isabella Robusto working the very bottom of that racetrack.
That's a good view of the visual difference between the banking from the lower lanes up until the top lane.
And the 99, the hood is flipped up on that car, so trouble for Michael Maples as he comes down pit road.
Probably a little bit of damage on the restart. It probably busted the hood pins, and they finally gave way. Unfortunately, we had 2 cars when they first went out to practice today that their hoods went up, which was very unusual. Isabella Robusto in the 55 was one of those.
So this was practice. They were out there for about 20 minutes. See the hood up there of Robusto.
Yeah, that was just one almost simultaneously. This is Takuma Koga in the 12 car. Same thing happened to him. That was the kind of deal. Whose job was it to put the hood pins in?
I was
Obviously,
going
it
to ask
wasn't
if
mine.
they sell hood pins in Indy or what? What are we doing here?
We have a shortage.
You might see that once every 5 races, and we had 3 today so far.
Battle here between the 40 car and the 70. Andrew Patterson in the 40. Sam Corey driving the 70, and Patterson up a spot.
Sam Corey's a great story. He's a 17-year-old. He's from Cornelius, North Carolina. Ooh, caution on the racetrack.
Second caution here, lap 18. The 96 gets turned around. And on the infield, it's Jackson McLaren. Was running 22nd.
And these cautions are really helping the cars that had fast cars, such as Connor Mozak, who had to start towards the back. Every time these cautions, they can regroup and gain a few more spots. Right now, we're showing Connor up into the 13th spot. And Connor started way back in 29th, so up 16 positions since the start.
Connor driving that second entry for PRG, along with the 28 of Brendan Queen, who has led them all so far after leading every lap in the win at Dover last week.
See Jackson right there in the 96 car in the middle of some heavy traffic. Doesn't look like he made any contact with anybody, so should be good to go. We've got the hood put back down on the 99 of Michael Maples.
Okay, you see the cow flap still kind of up there from the damage and flipping up. They try to tape it down.
At least these hoods are composite hoods, and they have a little bit of memory. Back in the day when we had metal hoods, they would just fold over the windshield and the roof.
Not an aerodynamic or visual advantage there, is it? A little tough to see when your hood's up.
Got a good look at the 68 there, Regina Servant. We talked about it earlier. one of the 6 females in this race, although unfortunately we've already lost one.
I know, with Monopoly.
Yeah.
Talking about Servento, 21 years of age, Mexico City, Mexico. One of 2 international drivers along with Takuma Koga in the field. And of course we have the father-son that we've talked about last week and early in this one as well with Isaac Kitzmiller and his dad, Jason.
We talked to those guys at the beginning of the show last week at Dover, and there was a little bit of smack talking.
Yes.
And Isaac said he wanted to beat his dad, and that he did. He finished 4th. Jason had a good run as well, finishing in the top 10. And right now, Isaac has the nod over Jason again, 4th to 6th.
And again, Isaac in the ARCA Menards East Series, in the ARCA East, he is the points leader and gained on it last week, added a couple.
Yeah, let's explain a little bit about what the East Series is. It's a regional series. Obviously, this is the National Series. This is a National Series event. We have 20 races all across the country. Where the East Series is for drivers, you can be any age, but you can also be 15 years old and run those series because they're on the smaller tracks. So there's 8 race series. This is race number 6 of the 8 races. And as you mentioned, Isaac Kitzmiller is leading that by 7 points over Tyler Reif, who's in this race, obviously, in that 23 car.
Guys, how about some big movers here? I know we've only run 21 laps, but we've got 3 drivers that have moved up more than 15 positions. Mozak, Patterson, and Moffitt all up more than 15. That's a big move for only a handful of green flag laps here.
Impressive. And you just talked about Tyler Reif. He started in the back last week at Dover because of issues he wrecked in practice. He ended up with a top 5, and that was following a top 5 at Sonoma in the ARCA West the week before. So Tyler Reif, another good storyline here today.
One of those youngsters, just turned 18 years old right before the Michigan race. And that was his first race on a big racetrack and had a top 10 there. So very talented young driver. Actually won his first National Series start at Phoenix when he was 15 years old.
So Butterbean's got the lead, and Amanda has more on him.
Yeah, and I talked to him after that win in Dover, and I asked him, hey, does Waffle House know that you exist out there? And he told me that they've liked a couple of his tweets over this season, so he hopes they start paying a little more attention, but came in here and said, hey, I'm not comfortable with my points lead at all, but I know that wins will solve that, and execution matters more than ever now. But Brendan, as we mentioned earlier, he is running the double. I saw him prior to this race with that cool suit on and told me on Wednesday he actually preloaded with an IV to get ready for this weekend. Guys, I don't know if you remember from Caitlin and I in our pit whips, but it is hot down here. We were glistening through those down there, so we know that it's hot inside of those cockpits.
Indy
Caitlin?
was always the hottest racetrack.
Well, guys, you were talking about Brendan McQueen's preparation. What about that of Lawless Allen? He was telling me how him and his crew chief, Kevin Reed Jr., were doing a couple different resources trying to prepare for this race. They did an iRacing session together to try and add another layer of preparation. He also mentioned he goes to the shop, of course, several days a week to be hands-on with his team and his guys, doing everything he can to be a part of this group. But he says he feels very comfortable at this track, guys.
All right, green flag back in the air. Lap 23. Butterbean on the outside. Brent Cruz on the inside of row 1.
See, Laura Scott trying to get the outside of the 20 of Lawless Allen to try to grab that 3rd spot as Cruz tries to fight this 28 on the inside. Ooh, sideways! Contact!
Sideways on the 28 and the 18, and Lawless Allen takes advantage.
That's the risky run, guys. You got to go for it. You know, we talk about it, these restarts are the opportunity, but as soon as you send it in like Brent Cruz did, they put it on your door. You're going to get free. Surprised everybody was able to hang on to those cars right there.
Brendan Queen recovers, and he's back to the point here.
And guys, that's a little disheartening for Lawless Allen. He had a shot, he got the lead, you know, was in position, and those 2 race cars were able to get back by him. For him, he knows now he's got a little work to do. When they have this break, he's got to work on that number 20 to be able to contend for this win.
As we mentioned, we'll have a mid-race break around lap 75 to give these crew chiefs one opportunity to work on these cars. As a great battle shapes up here. Isabella Robusto trying to get to the inside, and she's there on LeVar Scott.
Phil, that car looks really strong. Started 13th, already up inside the top 5, going for 4th place here. I was really impressed with Isabella at Dover as well. That is a tough racetrack. wears you out, and you're always on edge there. And so for her to battle up through the field, get the second for a period of time, ended up finishing third, a really strong run for Isabella.
5 straight top 10s for that 55 car of Isabella Robusto. As she battles for 4th with Lamar Scott. And to your point, another good week for Isaac Kitzmiller. There's his dad in the 97, Jason, to the inside of Laney Bice, 3 wide.
Patterson's going to take advantage on the inside of that 40 car. And there's Connor Mozak as well. Started way back in the field now, battling for a top 10 spot.
Started 27th and 29th for those 2 drivers there inside the top 10 now.
There's Connor, works to the inside of Jason Kitzmiller. You see, we talked about drivers right down next to the grass. That's exactly where Connor was. If you're going to go down on the flatter part of the racetrack, might as well make it the shortest way around.
He did that for sure. You'll see him try to turn down to the apron on the exit. Try to de-wedge the car a little bit, make the balance change.
See Mason Mitchell, that 25 car, right behind this side-by-side battle. Look how flat it is down there on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, and you see him sliding on exit. It's so hard on the right rear tire. And as a driver, it's, you know, which reward do I want? Do I want this instant satisfaction of running the shorter line, or do I need my tires to last 10 laps for now? So you'll see drivers do that a lot of times at the end of a run. Early in a run, they won't go down there as much to try to take care of it. Late in a run, when they've got to charge and attack, they might move down and try to find some grip.
Let's go back to the start of this run, and that good save by the 18 of Brent Cruz, a Reese's sweet move to the race. And again, we invite you to visit ARCARacing.com Monday, 3 Eastern, to see who's crowned Reese's sweet move of the race.
You can see it. Butterbean was right down on the door of that 18. Nice save by both those drivers. Look at Lois Allen down through the grass. Going to briefly take the lead for a moment.
You see right there, just
hear the tires squealing.
You know that's a risky run from both drivers, the one trying to make the pass and the one that's trying to defend. When you hold somebody down, they're gonna get loose underneath you. Hopefully they backed up enough that they don't slide up the racetrack.
Brent Cruz, a half second off the pace, trying to chase down the 28 of Butterbean Queen. Lap number 33 at IRP. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by General Tire, hashtag GT Delivers. And by Reese's, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. 14 miles west of Indianapolis. What a weekend of racing in NASCAR. Kicking it off with the ARCA Menards Series with Butterbean at the point. He's led them all. Trailed by the 18 of Brent Cruz for Joe Gibbs Racing. And we take a look at today's Sioux Chief fast track driver. It is the number 28, our leader and our points leader, and a man who has won 4 times, Brendan Queen. 27 from Chesapeake, Virginia. And he's going to run in the truck race later on tonight. And not just the stats, but the personality and the following. He always talks about Bean Nation. This is definitely an easy guy to root for.
He is, and you know, he came onto the scene, I think it was North Wilkesboro in the truck series, where he had a really strong run. And he's a short track driver. Like, this is all he's done and how he was developed, which is, it used to be the traditional way, right? You start in go-karts, you go to a late model stock, and then you move up to a super late model, then maybe the K&N series back then, now it's the ARCA series. But Brendan Queen won the 2024 Cars Late Model Stock Championship. And again, that is on these types of racetracks where you're managing forward drive, you're managing throttle and brakes, and all these things are having to battle here at IRP. That 18 car in second, Brent Cruz, totally different upbringing. You mentioned it, Phil. You've seen him run dirt cars at Millbridge here locally. He's raced road courses in the TA2 cars. He's kind of gone all over the place, and he's our youngest Trans Am champion. So these 2 drivers, even though they've had totally different upbringings, it's all converging right here at IRP to go battle on a short track.
And oh, by the way, they will also race tonight in the trucks, both of them.
I love it. 2 of the 4 that are going to do double duty here today and tonight at IRP. Lap 46. Our only scheduled race break comes at or around lap 75 here in the ARCA Menards Series. A controlled pit stop, 5 minutes to change tires and fuel up the cars. Isaac Kitzmiller up into the top 5 in that 79 car with Robusto in the 55 running 6th.
See heavy traffic there. There's Laney Bice really doing a nice job. That's the 2 car, the second Rev Racing car. Right now she just follows this duo in the 7th position. 2 ARCA starts this year, 2 top 10 finishes for Laney.
And Caitlin has more.
Yeah, guys, you're talking about Laney Bice. I mentioned earlier she came over from the Cars Tour, had a record-breaking finish for a female over in that series, but she said she really enjoys the ARCA Menards Series and has been leaning heavily on Brendan Queen, of course, our race leader right now, as well as LeVar Scott. Right now on the radio, she's saying she's just a little bit tight, but her crew chief is very pleased with how she has moved from the field from the 24th position, guys.
She's an impressive young driver, and she's gotten a lot of help from her teammate in LeVar Scott in that 6 car.
She actually drives for the team that Butterbean won the Cars Tour Championship. Lee Pulliam runs that organization and won the championship with Butterbean last year. Laney's driving for him now.
Check out right behind Laney, you see the 82 of Connor Mozak working the top, trying to get a run through this traffic, coming from the 29th position all the way up to 8th. He's matched the leader's lap times. About 3 laps ago, he was running lap for lap. As they've caught lap traffic with this big group of cars in front of him, he's lost about 4/10 a lap. So lap traffic is going to be the name of the game tonight. How can you find the right line, pick your way through these cars without losing time? There's a lot of options. We mentioned it. You see him down on the grass. He's going to slide up as we got a caution.
Caution at 2, and the 34 gets drilled by the 12. The 10 involved as well. That turn 34 got spun. Austin Vaughn and was a sitting duck. And Takuma Koga had nowhere to go in the 12 car and slammed into him.
It's really tough when you commit to the high side. It looked like Takuma had committed to the high side. You're already in the corner as hard as you can get in the corner. It's not that easy to stomp on the brakes, stop these cars and turn them. Tough break for those drivers.
Big time damage to Takuma Koga, the 48-year-old from Japan, running for Fast Track Racing.
They were strong up in the top 5 in the ARCA East points. Had a great run. I think a 3rd place finish at Flat Rock earlier this year in the East Series. This is going to hurt, especially when you have this many cars. When you have a big field, you can really get hurt in the points.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate timing to your point, Phil. You know, to the viewer that says, why don't you just slow down? You see it. You're already pushing that brake pedal as much as you can push it without locking up the tire. And sometimes the panic of seeing that car up there spun out in your lane makes you push them even harder. Then your tires are locked up. You have no steering. You saw the double black marks sliding into that. And we see Laney hitting pit road here.
The left
rear tire, yeah, but probably from this contact with Connor Mozak right there.
Boy.
You saw that the 10 car really did a nice job of avoiding that. Unfortunately spun, but Tony Cosentino.
That's a big hit.
Ooh, that was a big hit.
And scary for the 34 as you're sitting there looking out your window net, seeing a car coming out your driver's side door.
So Austin Vaughn in the 34, the 16-year-old, and Takuma Koga climbs out of his car. That number 12 for Fast Track. Lap 53, our 3rd caution of the day here at IRP. Well, Amanda is on pit road with a special guest.
Yeah, your 2015 ARCA champion of Grant Engfinger, who was working with the Kitzmillers this weekend, said they're out of the shop, so you wanted to lend a hand. You were on the horn with Isaac earlier today. He'll take this restart in the 5th position. What impresses you about the 16-year-old?
Yeah, overall he's done solid pretty much everywhere he's gone. You know, Rockingham earlier this year, Dover last week. But yeah, Isaac and Jason run out of our shop. Frank Kimmel leads that charge. So we're here, so hopefully we can help where we can. Neither one of those guys have ever been here, but yeah, Isaac's running 5th right now. He's doing a great job. So yeah, hopefully he can keep that going.
Grant Enfinger will race 4 of our drivers later today. Had the overall fastest truck in practice. Told me that he should have a top 3 finish tonight, guys.
He will roll off 8th. We'll find out in that 9 truck. We saw him earlier this year, filling in for Jason Kitzmiller in an ARCA race and finished 2nd in the 97. That was at Charlotte.
Yeah, Jason missed that Charlotte race to attend his daughter's high school graduation. She was a valedictorian.
That's pretty impressive.
Yes, it is.
If there's a reason to skip a race, that would be a good one. Lainey Bice was running a 7th. As Trevor mentioned, she had moved up 17 positions since the drop of the green flag, then had a left rear tire go down, and she is scored in 15th.
Yeah, she came to pit road before it was open because of that flat tire, which was a smart move, but she will have to go back to the back of the pack for this restart.
Off turn 4, Butterbean Queen on the outside of Brent Cruz. Green flag back in the air at IRP.
Such a huge advantage to be the control car on these restarts and get the jump like Butterbean did.
Well, and if you're wondering about Brent being a little timid, think back to Lime Rock where he got that penalty for
from the front row.
From the front row. He jumped the start a little bit, and in the ARCA series, you cannot beat the leader to the restart line. There is one line. It's not a zone. It's not a judgment call. It's if you beat them to the line for any reason, even if they beat you to the start-finish line. So you've got to wait that beat. As to your point, Phil, it's a great point because the leader has a huge advantage, and that jump is all that you need to get the leverage to maintain the lead. Going to work now, though, looking inside. Gonna get him free on exit here. Butterbean Son on the wheel, and these guys are on old tires now. Lap 63, the tires are getting worn out. It's getting harder to drive. They cooled them off under that caution, but you see Brent going to work on the left rear. As he packs air right here, Brendan's gonna lose a lot of drive, and now he can dive down to the inside and try it again.
Now these guys know what it's going to feel like to have about 10 laps to go in this race on that many laps on these tires.
One thing that's impressive about Brendan's car, he can run a big arc and turn it down into the corner. And that allows him to get that low straight exit that you see there, which has been his advantage all race long.
It looks like he can just snatch the wheel up off that wall, and that car will turn for him.
Butterbean has led all but 1 lap. As we approach the midpoint, race break scheduled for on or around lap 75.
See, right there, he's able to turn and get it straight up off the corner.
Well, LeVar Scott, again, he and Robusto. Robusto's been trying to get around him for most of this race for that 4th spot.
LeVar Scott has been here twice before. Top 5 finishes in both attempts here at IRP, but right now it looks like Isabella definitely has a faster car.
Yeah, this is the point where you're paying the price for what you did early in the run. We talk about managing throttle. These cars don't have traction control. Well, they're not supposed to. I don't know, Phil. You might have raced against traction control at some point in your career.
Probably raced against it, never had it.
I said it's always your right foot. That's your traction control. She does get to the inside here of LeVar. She can complete this pass down into turn 3. Takes 3-4 corners to try to put together a pass here. It's so frustrating. You work so hard to get under somebody, and then they beat you just a little bit on exit of the corner, and you got to go back to work. But throttle control is everything to your long run speed.
And
here.
I think you have to be a good bit better than that car in front of you to make the pass like Isabella's trying to do here. I think if we see her get by LeVar Scott, I think she'll drive away from him.
He's got 9 top 10s. Had 16 straight top 10s before last week for that 6-car LeVar Scott. Begin tonight 3rd in points.
Let's check out the 18 here of Brent. Oh, lap traffic. That was painful there for Brendan Queen. A scary moment for him. Thought those guys were going to give him the bottom. Goes to the bottom as they pulled down into the corner. But I love our onboard shots at these short tracks. You get a real view of and a sound of what the driver's doing. So let's listen to a lap and just hear how he manages this throttle and exit. wait for it through the center, then he goes back to about half throttle before he can get wide open late.
And these corners are long here at IRP too.
And it's all about timing. When am I going to get down to my min speed, my minimum speed of the corner to be able to turn back down? Get the guys, you see him slip there as he gets to that lower lane. You want to run that shorter distance. We've mentioned it a few times, but as you get down there, you just lose all the ability to push the throttle down and drive off the corner.
And typically we will see these cars migrate to the very top of the racetrack. They'll be up above that white line right there.
Yeah, you want to chase the rubber. As this track takes rubber, we'll see it later tonight in our Craftsman Truck Series race. We might see guys running right against the wall at some point.
Butterbean leads by 1.2 seconds on the 18 of Brent Cruz. And let's go back to Butterbean through lap traffic a moment ago. Reese's sweet move of the race.
Heavy traffic, and they're not sure exactly where they're going to go, but watch that 18 of Cruz. I thought he was going to be able to drive by Butterbean.
Visit ARCARacing.com Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern to see who's crowned Reese's sweet move of the race. Oh!
Little zig, little zag.
Here's the peanut butter in that Reese's cup.
Exactly. So the scheduled race break will happen at any moment here. Lap 75, Queen by 1.1 seconds on Cruz. Lawless Allen in that 20 car runs third. LeVar Scott in the 6 runs fourth.
Yeah, we saw some big movers earlier in the race throughout the beginning part of the run. You just got to wonder, how much did they use up their tires? How much did Isabella Robusto, Connor Mozak? Caution's out now.
Fourth caution, yep, and our scheduled race break halfway through the race. So we go under yellow for the 4th time with Brendan Queen with the advantage on Brent Cruz.
So Brent, I was just saying, they've used up their tires. They know how bad it's going to get now. Now guess what? They get to come down, put on 4 fresh tires, and go back to work. So all those drivers that made up gains, see the right front on Brent Cruz, that one doesn't have much rubber left on the side of the tire, much less the tread.
No letters for sure.
They'll get to go back to work here and reset.
The 68 of Regina Servant gets the free pass. Caution number 4 halfway through in Indianapolis Raceway Park. Let's take a look at the Richmond mid-race report. We've had 2 leaders. Lawless Allen led 1 lap. Brendan Queen has been at the point for the rest of them. 16 cars in the lead lap, 4 cautions so far, including this scheduled race break. The 28 in the lead, the 18 runs second, that 20 car runs third. Let's go back down to pit road. We begin with Caitlin.
Yeah, guys, well, let's take a look at Brent Cruz in that 18. 2 wins on the year, looking to rebound, though, from a tough performance last time out at Dover. Listening to his radio saying, I'm fighting everything. Tight in the center, can't turn the wheel on exit. His crew chief, Matt Ross, responded, we'll do a host of changes for you. And then Brent said, I need a water and another water. It is very, very warm down here, guys. And the 20 of Lawless Allen, he's had a banner campaign so far this season. 7 top 5 performances, 1 at Talladega. He was telling his team he is losing the left rear as we run, and he is rear lateral free. Amanda?
Hey, Caitlin, yeah, I'm taking a look at the 82 of Connor Mozak right now. During these pit stops, teams can elect to start with tires or to start with fuel. Both the 28 and 82 started with tires. They're still working on the left rear of Connor Mozak. He did come into pit road and told his crew chief that he feels a little loose out there. They were going to go up on the pressure in the tires for this next stint. But you guys saw that Reese's sweet move of the day that will be voted on. Connor up 20 from the 29th position. Moved 22 spots and told me he had to do work tonight. As we move over to the 28 of Brendan Queen, they elected to do tires first. Looks like they finished up fueling the 28 as well. Brendan was so happy with this car as he came in. The team just told him to make sure that he preserves those right rear tires as he goes into the second stint. But guys, I'm looking at the left rear of the 28 of where Brent Cruz got into him. I can't say the word on air that Brendan had to say to to Brent, but I can tell you that I don't think Christmas cards are going to be exchanged between these two.
Okay, good to know. That rivalry continues between the 28 and the 18. Brendan Queen gunning for his 5th win of the season. He won at Dover last week, trying to do it again in Indianapolis on FS1. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Bounty. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. Beautiful night for racing here in Indianapolis, about 14 miles west of downtown. Brownsburg, Indiana, not far from Speedway, Indiana. And what a fun weekend this is in stock car racing.
Phil, what are we going to see the second half here? What's your prediction?
Well, it looks like, you know, Butterbean wasn't real happy maybe with that contact from the 18 of Brent Cruz. I was sitting here thinking that probably wouldn't be the last time possibly that these cars will make some contact tonight. As a matter of fact, back at Phoenix, second race of the year, this is the final lap. Butterbean has a lead. A little bit of a nudge right there by the 18 of Cruz, puts him up in the wall, and Cruz goes down to victory. I'm sure, Trevor, as race car drivers, we never forget that kind of stuff, and I'm sure that's in the back of Butterbean's mind.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. We remember things, but here it is similar to that. Brent Cruz on the inside. Brendan Queen trying to defend the lead. Brent gets loose, slides up into him, knocks him up the racetrack some. Both of those incidents, I would say, I would categorize as racing deals. You know, it's not like either driver's gone in there and, you know, my buddy Matt Kenseth, I talked to him a few weeks ago about Martinsville. It wasn't one of those moments. You know, he didn't end his day. But, you know, for a young driver, it can feel like a bigger moment than maybe it actually is. And when you go back and watch the replay, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. But what I like about Brendan Queen right now was the last 5 laps of that long run, he moved up a whole lane. And you mentioned him running double duty.
Just like we were talking about the groove moving up.
You had mentioned that earlier. He started moving up to search to see what was going to be there, what's available. He had a big enough cushion for a lead, so he went and tested a little bit, moved around to see if he could learn something. I think he learned a little bit the last couple laps. You mentioned both of these drivers doing double duty. The Groove also moved up in truck practice, so they had a little bit of a hint of where to go. We'll see who has the right adjustments. Brendan Queen really happy with his truck. It's hard for his crew chief to adjust on a truck if your driver doesn't have feedback. But for Brent Cruz on the other side, said he has all kinds of issues. So what do you do as a crew chief if your driver's fighting everything?
Yeah, which one do you fix first?
86 feels like 98. Hot night. Hot weekend. Hot, certainly inside those race cars, and especially when you're the 28 and the 18 and you're having a little dust up.
Didn't Brent want a bottle of water and a bottle of water?
Yeah.
Is that what he said he wanted?
Well, I tell you, you saw that 72% humidity. Cool boxes, the helmet blowers, they hate humidity. They have a filter in there that filters out carbon. All that humidity gets trapped. They start kicking breakers, cutting off. It's like the hottest day of your life, and none of your cooling equipment ever works on these days.
The crew chief says, turn it off. We can't stand to lose the amps.
Brendan Queen on the outside. Brent Cruz in the 18 on the inside. Set to go back under green here at IRP. Race number 11 in the ARCA Menards Series season. Green flag back in the air.
Watch this 18. He's going to fight hard.
Yeah, just not able to even be close, though, on that launch, you know, with Brendan Queen having the advantage of knowing, oh, slides up tight gap there to the 6, and LeVar Scott cuts him a break.
LeVar Scott moving into third momentarily, but on the bottom, here comes the 20. Back underneath the 6, that's the 20 of Lawless Allen.
They were 3 and 4 wide behind them.
That's the advantage that ARCA Menards Series does not have a choose rule like we see in our other top 3 NASCAR series. The leader gets to choose which lane, but everyone else is committed to either inside or outside based on their odd or even scoring position. So you see LeVar Scott taking advantage of that. Started on the outside lane with the leader, was able to capitalize, get the 4th. Kitzmiller from 6th gets the 5th. So there's a little bit of strategy sometimes at the end of these races. How can I get in position to have the right restart lane if the caution's coming out?
We saw Connor Mozak, the 82 car, drive it really hard down in the corner, trying to do a slide job on Jason Kitzmiller. It did not work.
Jason Kitzmiller in that gray number 97, celebrating his 52nd birthday here tonight. And he currently runs 7th behind his son in the 79, who runs 5th.
You see that 95 car for just a moment. That is Hunter Wright. He is running in the 9th position. There's a good shot of him right there. This is his first ever ARCA Menards Series start. Really doing a fine job here.
From Lebanon, Tennessee, the 24-year-old.
It's a good state, I hear, guys.
Oh, boy, you would know.
I do know. I saw that tri-star on the side of his car and got a little bit of Tennessee pride going on.
I got to tell you, Knoxville's got to be a pretty fun place to live, I would think.
It's great unless you're driving to Charlotte, and then that can be a little hectic right now with Interstate 40.
I've heard that. 66 to go here in Indianapolis.
Hunter ran 3rd in the East race at Nashville early this year, and that's his home racetrack. Obviously, he won the World Series of asphalt racing in New Smyrna, the pro late model division this year. Actually won it the last 2 years.
The 82 of Mozak looking for 7th, trying to get underneath Jason Kitzmiller.
One of those situations, Connor lost that on the restart, probably restarted on the inside, lost that spot to Jason Kitzmiller.
Yeah, and as good as Mozak was that first run, you know, I expected him to be able to fire off here and get by a couple cars, get inside that top 5 pretty quick. You want to make quick work of those restarts while everybody's bunched up. Once it gets spread out and you have a 1, 2, 3 second gap between each car, you got to work a little harder. So for him to be kind of stalled out in 8th, I'm surprised by that right now.
Battle up front continues. Brent Cruz right there on the rear bumper of Butterbean.
Going to move him up the racetrack here, but that 4th drive with a 28's been so strong.
You can hear that throttle. You were talking about pedaling that throttle because he just didn't have the room to use of the racetrack to move back up to the high side.
Brent move up the track there for the first time, seeing if he can get a little better drive off. He's going to learn as he gets behind Brendan. That's the best way to learn, is follow somebody that's been the fastest car, doing a really nice job there on entry. Maybe turning down a bit soon. You know, you kind of want to wait for that exit to get underneath them, and right there through the middle, just trying to creep down to the bottom and not able to roll by.
See why, what you said earlier about how frustrating it is on this track trying to make a pass, because we see from the in-car cameras each time in the corner it looks like the 18 is going to get underneath him and have a chance to clear.
Well, and obviously Brennan wants a bigger lead than what he has right now with Brent Cruz physically pushing his bumper, but all Brennan has to do is stay in position right in front of him, and even if he gets inside, he knows he can defend that. So it's a little easier as the leader here to take care of your tires than it is the 2nd place car.
There's a lot of times when the group moves up that you want, if you're Brent Cruz, you want to get to the outside of Butterbean, not pass him on the inside, but he's going to try it right now.
Brent Cruz door to door with the 28 of Butterbean. The battle for the lead, but again, off the turn, it's Butterbean clear of the 18.
This puts Butterbean really vulnerable in traffic. We've seen how much traffic has affected these leaders. With Brent that close, any kind of a bobble in traffic or somebody doing something that you didn't expect, and Brent Cruz will be right there.
Well, and as he catches some top 10 competitive cars, they're going to want to fight him to stay on that lead lap. When you're the leader, it is the hardest to lap a car because they cannot give up that position. Once the leader gets by and they're lapped down, then you're 2nd place. They're like, well, I'm already a lap down now. It's not any good to fight you.
Look at that momentum. We saw Brent Cruz move higher in the center of the corner. Got some momentum.
Banging towards Cruz and Butterbean. Can he do it this time? Brent Cruz looking for the lead at IRP.
Gonna have to drive it down in and try to slide up in front of Brennan. He's gonna do it here. He's gonna be clear on exit.
What a strong move.
What a run. And for the first time tonight, the 18 of Brent Cruz is at the point.
Made some great adjustments on that car with Matt Ross. We heard him giving the feedback. Not very happy with it the first run. Obviously learned a bit, and moving up the racetrack might have been part of what's helping that tight center that he was battling early in the race.
Joe Gibbs Racing has never won in the ARCA Series at IRP in 6 previous starts, trying to stop that skid here tonight.
It's amazing what these crew chiefs are able to do with a 5-minute clock on these pit stops. Caitlin, what's going on with that 18 car? He's looking good now.
Yes, he certainly is, Phil. And before he made that pass on Brendan, his spotter was saying, make sure your timing is right. Keep the pressure on him. Wear him down without wearing yourself down. So, Phil and Trevor, how exactly do you do that when you're trying to take the lead from someone?
Well, you see him, Caitlin, a few times he took the bait of trying to make the pass on corner entry and in the middle of the corner. That's the thing you cannot fall into the trap of doing, because you're never going to complete that pass. When we finally saw him make the pass for the win, or the lead there, we saw him set the run up on the exit, and that's what got the job done. He was able to get leverage into turn 3, take that lead away, and that's what you want to do. So that's the timing his spotter was looking for. That was great advice from the spotter stand. They can see a lot more than a driver can and can feed that to them to help them through those situations.
You see him now, he's creeping up the racetrack too. He found that grip up there that Butterbean did in the first half of the race.
Brent Cruz looking for a bounce-back weekend. Remember last week at Dover in the first half of that race, blew a tire, smoked a wall, and then his car went up in smoke. And here he is 1 week later, an opportunity to get Joe Gibbs Racing back in victory lane.
See that run on exit he gets? He's going to be able to dive to the inside into 3. Textbook pass here, Phil.
Just stayed with him right here, and then he was able to pass him in the next corner. Here it is again. Watch him slide up the racetrack. Butterbean tries to hold him down. May have been slight contact right there, but the important thing is the 18 was able to stay in the throttle, stay even with him, and allow him to slide job him getting in turn 1.
That's right. When you're in that position, you got to get your nose in front of the other guy. At that point, you control the lane.
Brent Cruz with a half-second lead on Butterbean Queen.
Now this race is far from over, guys. Brendan Queen, we saw in that first run how strong he was on the long run. If you're Brent Cruz right now, if you're Matt Ross or you're the spotter on that 18, you're saying, hey, we don't need a 15-second lead here, buddy. He's like, let's just maintain, a second, a comfortable lead, take care of that right rear tire, make it last till the end of this race. More than likely, we'll see a caution at some point here, and that's a big reset. You got to be ready to fire off again. We've seen how strong Brendan Queen is on restarts.
Battle for 11th, Sam Corey goes around the 23 and Tyler Reif.
Sam making his debut. He's another one of those drivers that's come from the Trans Am Series. He's a winner already this year in the Trans Am Series.
Phil, tell us a little bit, why are we seeing so many drivers go to road course racing now? What do you think is the big change here that's changing the whole trajectory of development?
Well, back in the day, we just had one road course. We would run Riverside. Then they added Watkins Glen, and Riverside went away, and we added Sonoma. So there wasn't, it was almost an afterthought for most of the NASCAR teams. I mean, the Truck Series would run a road course, maybe the Xfinity Series as well, but now we have, in some series, 6, 7 road course races, and they've seen what people like SFG have been able to do. It's almost, because of his prowess on road courses, he's almost guaranteed at least a win each year in the Cup Series, and so I think that's why these drivers are taking that opportunity to get some road racing experience. And we've seen guys actually start, just like Brent Cruz, started on dirt at Millbridge and ran some late models, midgets or whatever, and then moved to the Trans Am Series, became the youngest winner, as you mentioned, youngest champion ever. So we see a lot of that now, not necessarily starting in the Trans Am Series or road racing, but going there to get that experience.
So tell me about the dirt side too, because you mentioned that. I think that's another thing we see Kyle Larson be so strong. So you've got SVG dominating road courses. You've got Kyle Larson, who's really good at being on the right rear tire. What do you think about the dirt racing side for development?
We've seen that for years. We saw Tony Stewart do it. We saw Jeff Gordon do it. So there's been a long list of drivers that excelled on dirt and were able to make that transition. And then all of a sudden, that's what you need.
Big wreck.
Big wreck to 69, gets into the wall and spins.
Got to hold the brakes on that car.
It's Brian Finney, the 47-year-old from Merritt Island, Florida, for Kimmel Racing.
That's exactly what Butterbean wanted, an opportunity on a restart.
Exactly.
That car spun right around getting into the corner. Hard impact to the driver's side door.
So Finney brings out the 5th caution of the night with 44 to go at IRP. The new leader is the 18 of Brent Cruz. And our most recent caution brought about by the 69 getting into the fence. Welcome back to the Calypso 150 presented by Dutch Boy on FS1 as we kick off the second half of the ARCA Menards Series season. Heading down to crunch time here. Brent Cruz with the lead. We go back down to pit road for Amanda.
Hey guys, here's a feel-good story written all over it. Take a look at the 95 of Hunter Wright. He is making his debut in the ARCA Menards Series tonight. We've seen him in ARCA race the last 2 seasons, 2 races last year, 2 races this year, but he's also a champion in Pro Late Model based out of Nashville. But what I love, Hunter Wright is a crew guy that has worked in ARCA for the last 3 seasons. So I can't even imagine the feeling that he has, Caitlin, watching his name rise up this pylon.
Yeah, speaking of rising up the pylon, Thad Moffitt has done just that. Started 34th, is now occupying the 10th position. We haven't seen him since Michigan due to a loss of sponsors, but they're back in the field. He said, we're always very competitive when we are racing in the ARCA Series. His crew chief, Jim Long, he said, we almost won a race together at Talladega. He said, also, Jim was my uncle, Kyle Petty's crew chief in the Cup Series back in the day. So long storied history with the family. A lot of people forgetting that Thad Moffitt is a part of the Richard Petty family, guys.
Absolutely. And Thad Moffitt, it's disappointing we haven't seen him in a while. Remember, he was 2nd at Talladega, 7th at Charlotte, and 6th at Michigan. All right, today's Rookie Spotlight brought to you by Bounty. The number 23 of Tyler Reif, a top 5 each of his last 2 races, and just outside the top 10 right now. 18 years old, Henderson, Nevada. Won his ARCA debut in 23 at Phoenix. And in the East Series, running 2nd, points behind Isaac Kitzmiller.
Yeah, only 7 points behind. He was 6 points behind and finished 1 spot behind Isaac at Dover, 4th and 5th. But a talented young man won the West Series Owners Championship for Todd Souza last year. So certainly has the credentials. Again, just turned 18 right before the Michigan race. His first ever race on a big racetrack and had a top 10.
So he runs 12th here. Under our 5th caution, Cody Dennison in the 9 car got the free pass. Dennison will run in the Truck Series later on tonight. So in our last break, Trevor, you asked us, okay, what do you think, guys? And I didn't get a chance to say it, but I really didn't have much to say because I was like, you know, it looks like another Butterbean runaway. Well, that last stretch, obviously Brent Cruz has something and more for the 28.
He does. The bad news is we've got a restart right here, right? And we saw that, obviously, the replay from Phoenix. We saw the lead change there. The 18's been on the bottom in all those exchanges. I have a feeling here because of the jump that the outside's been getting, he'll probably choose the outside. That puts Butterbean on the inside now. He has the opportunity to drive in, slide him up. So if I'm Brent Cruz, that lane choice is going to be pretty important here. Do I feel like I wasn't getting a good jump because I was a 2nd place car? Well, there's the choice. He's on the outside. So now if you're Brendan Queen, what do you do? How far do you drive in? How much are you willing to slide up the racetrack?
And the launch is going to be super critical here. We've seen how well Butterbean's been able to launch. Can Brent Cruz do the same thing?
Sioux Chief fast track on board for the 28 of Brendan Queen. 4 wins on the season, 1 at Dover last week. Kicked off the year with a victory at Daytona. Brent Cruz and the General Tire on board.
Brent putting his water bottle back, took an opportunity to take a little bit of a drink of cold water. We talk about the heat. We showed the weather. It was 86 degrees, felt like 96 or whatever. Well, it's 125 degrees in those cars.
Well, this should be a fun restart as we approach the stretch run of this one. For the first time tonight, the 18 is the control car. Brent Cruz on the outside of the 28 of Butterbean Queen. Green flag back in the air. Great restart for Brent Cruz.
That's exactly what Brent needed to do. We still see Brendan Queen able to drive it down in there and get close to his lefter as he's battling the ball with Allen, leaning all over him on exit.
See if Brent can clear Lawless Allen. Not able to do it. He's going to have to worry about Lawless Allen here before we can go after Brent Cruz.
Lawless Allen and that 55 of Isabella Robusto, she's going to try to get to the outside and fill that gap. Lawless Allen still battling on the outside.
Way to the bottom that time, the 28 of Brendan Queen.
Lawless Allen's going to have that spot.
And Butterbean back to third with Robusto now trying to hunt him down.
Butterbean's going to have to regroup here.
Yeah, a lot of wheel spin on that start. Makes those back tires really upset when they get all that heat in them from the spin.
Great restart for Jason Kitzmiller in the 97, celebrating his 52nd birthday, up into the top 5.
He got ahead of his son, too. How about that?
This is the lowest Queen has run since 2 races ago at Lime Rock, falling back to third.
We talked about at the halfway break that Lawless Allen had led that one lap. That was the only lap in the last 2 races that Butterbean had not led.
Nearly 1 second lead built by the 18 of Cruz on the 20 of Lawless Allen. Allen began the night second in points.
LeVar Scott, the 6 car, trying to get inside of the 97 of Kitzmiller to try to grab that 5th spot back. And there's the 82 of Connor Mozak lurking really high up the racetrack. Got a good run up off the corner as well. There goes Connor to the inside of Kitzmiller.
The 82 gets to the bottom of 97 with a shove of LeVar Scott.
See if Connor can drive it hard, do a little slide job on Kitzmiller. He's got it. Great job by Connor Mozak to grab that spot.
Mozak up into 6th. Now takes aim at LeVar Scott.
Don't hit him.
Oh,
don't hit him.
Sideways, Kitzmiller.
He still saw it on the wheel. That was like 6 saves in 1 right there.
Kitzmiller somehow able to keep it straight.
Lost a couple spots, but one to his son. Isaac was able to get by.
And the 95 as well, Hunter Wright.
Move Hunter up to the 8th spot.
Boy, it can happen quickly. Jason had the great restart, got in the top 5, and now he's back to 9th.
That was a nice move right there in 3 and 4. A really nice move to grab that spot back. See Thad Moffitt creeping into the picture there, that blue and white car right behind the 95.
See him get down in the corner. That wheel turn to the right just got really loose trying to hold it down underneath the 82. Typically it'd take 4 or 5 laps for those rear tires to recover, but he went right back to work the next corner.
There's that contact. Nice save by Connor Mozak as well. Right in a vulnerable spot in the corner and get hit in the left rear quarter like that.
How about him working the wheel? And then he got 1 spot back, going back around Hunter Wright. Did the 97 of Jason Kitzmiller. And now it's Isaac, 1 spot in front of him. Back down to Amanda.
Yeah, guys, after Brennan Queen lost that position to Lawless Allen, he said over the radio to his team, "I am so sorry, guys." And they told him, "Hey, calm down. It's just 1 race. The championship is not won in 1 race. Be smart." So you can imagine just the frustration that Brennan is going in as he wants to also get back in position with Brent Cruz.
Yeah, and I'm curious, guys, if they've made any adjustments during that stop. We heard him being really happy with the car. That's the hard thing, though. If you've dominated the first half of a race, you've led 74 or 69 of 70 laps, do you really want to tell your crew chief to change something? And, you know, he may have left it alone. The other guys make some changes. We're starting to see some shade coming onto the racetrack on the front straightaway. Track conditions are changing, and now some other cars are starting to come to life.
And we feel like Matt Ross felt like he had to do something to help Brent Cruz, and whatever he did, looks like it worked to me.
Yeah.
You know, we talked earlier this year, we've had a couple short tracks already, Berlin and Elko, and we talked about going into that little short track run, that was going to be right in Butterbean's wheelhouse. Well, he's won 4 races this year, and none of them have been on the short tracks. He had a 4th and a 2nd in those 2 short track races.
Check in on the 55. Into 4th, Isabella Robusto, and Caitlin has more.
Yeah, guys, I talked at the top of the show about the consistency that Isabella's had so far this season, which she attributed that to having a concerted effort to get through that bad stretch of races they had at the beginning of the year. She said, we stayed positive, we built on every single week, and we tried not to make the same mistakes twice. But she did say she had some apprehension as it pertained to this race today, considering she didn't have sim for this racetrack. But it seems like she's gotten acclimated pretty quickly, running in the top 5 right now, guys.
3 top 5s for her on the season. 3rd at Talladega, 5th at Elko, and 3rd last week at Dover. She is one of 6 female drivers to start the race here tonight. Ties for the most in the history of the ARCA Menards Series, and caution out for the 6th time, the 99 of Michael Maples.
Is that hood gone that we saw earlier come up? It looks like the hood has gone off of that car. And the right front tire is flat.
Ooh. A lot of problems for the 99 here. Maples from Choctaw, Oklahoma, 61 years of age. Oldest driver in the field here tonight. With 22 to go, it's Brent Cruz with the advantage. Under caution here at IRP, stretch run to come. Back here at IRP on FS1, it's the ARCA Menards Series and Todd Parrott. This is a special place for that crew chief.
Yeah, it sure is. This is back in 1996. Todd Parrott was the crew chief for Dale Jarrett, and they were the first guys, right there, you can see them on the left-hand side, the first guys to ever kiss the bricks. And that tradition has certainly continued in the years since, but good buddy Todd Parrott, good to see him back here at the racetrack, crew chief, and there he is right there. He's with Jackson McLaren. We love you too, Todd. We love you too.
Won the Brickyard in 96 and 99 as well. What a career, and it's cool to have him out here tonight with, as you mentioned, Jackson McLaren.
You know, Thad Moffitt, crew chief Jim Long, also won the Brickyard 400 with Ricky Rudd.
Awesome.
2 Brickyard 400 crew chiefs here tonight.
Very cool, and Moffitt up into the top 10. Setting up for a fantastic finish. Green flag back in the air. 18 to go at IRP. Brent Cruz back to the point.
Little wheel spin by that 20 on the inside. Let's see if Isabella can take advantage. That's her side-by-side with the 20.
Yeah, we saw Lawless be able to get the 2nd from that outside row. She tries to cross back over. She's going to get the 3rd, though. Remember, she restarted 4th. Able to gain that position on Brennan Queen, who's really struggling now as he's lost another 2 positions to the 82 of his teammate, Connor Mozak, and now the 6 of LeVar Scott going to work on it.
Butterbean all the way back, shuffled back to 6th.
We thought that Connor Mozak would be a car that would be a contender. We had no idea that he would be in front of Butterbean when he was doing it, but great restart by Connor Mozak.
16 to go. Brent Cruz over Lawless Allen and Isabella Robusto up into 3rd.
There's a Kitzmiller, Isaac on the left, and Jason on the right. Right now running 7th and 8th.
Jason trying to get revenge. Isaac beat him last week at Dover. And Amanda can add on that.
Oh, he had such a good moment at Dover. He said that at the beginning of the race, he was looking at his son on the track with him and was like, wow, how many people get this moment? I actually talked to them about being teammates, and he said, you know, I can help him on these restarts. I'm not going to hang him out. He's going to get more patience from me because it's costly to wad up 2 cars out here. But he told me that if he has one goal in life, it's to make it another 2 years and race with his son at Daytona. What a proud father.
Be awesome.
Good battle among teammates right here. Butterbean's trying to get to the inside of his teammate Connor.
Well, this is 2 totally different races for Brennan Queen. You think about the dominance that we saw in the first half, and now the frustration of trying to figure out how to get by for 4th place, something we didn't think we'd see. But once you get in dirty air, you lose that lead. Your car has less downforce. You're pushing it harder. You start driving in the corner further. Talked about being loose in and loose off over the radio just before that caution, and that gets worse as you try to push the car harder and harder, try to run that lower radius to get around someone, especially your teammate.
Laps winding down, just 12 laps to go.
Mozak get really free there as he crossed the seam, sliding up the racetrack.
Battle for fourth here. Butterbean trying to get a run. Off the corner on the 82 of Mozak, who runs fourth. Cruz in front by a second and a half with 11 to go.
So hard to do. Butterbean could pull it to the inside, pull up even with him, but just does not have the momentum up off the corner. Watch Connor get that little car length spurt up off the corner.
Just trying to pack air, get him loose, but Connor's doing a great job being disciplined.
I was going to try the slide job. It's going to work too.
You just gain so much distance when you cut to the bottom like that. You don't even really have to be rolling that much faster. It's like being on the inside lane of a runner's track. You know, that advantage that you get is you go down way to the bottom.
See, LeVar Scott now is trying to get by Connor in that battle for fifth. Connor's going to hang tough on the outside, try to keep that 6-car pinned down to the inside. There'll be some contact here. See if Connor can do the crossover. Okay, this is a great illustration of a really strong field here at Cars. These are potential winners here, and they're racing for 5th and 6th right now.
Great battle between the 6 of LeVar Scott, the 82 of Connor Mozak. 7 to go.
Meanwhile, Brent Cruz has driven away.
2.5 seconds on Lawless Allen. Allen in his own right has had a great night and a great season. Of course, he won at Talladega, and before a tire issue last week, had 4 consecutive third-place finishes for that 20 of Lawless Allen, who runs second behind Cruz.
And we see Butterbean there just sideways on exit, really working the wheel. Lawless Allen doing a nice job. Thought that car looked like a race-winning car early in the race. The platform, this car just doesn't move around a lot. You notice that blue valence on the front, how sealed up it stays right against the racetrack all the way around. It's kind of what you want at a racetrack like this, where you're looking for all the bite out of the tires.
Lawless ran this race last year. Remember, he was full-time in the Truck Series, but he ran this race, ran a number of ARCA races, had a really good run going, running up in the top 5, got involved in an accident.
And look at the difference here. We were just talking about the setups and the difference. Look how high the 18 car is, kind of coming off the corner there as it moves and transfers weight. There's a couple different schools of thought there. You can have your car really rigid and low to the track and create grip that way, or you can have it transfer weight to different tires. And so, you know, that's kind of a crew chief preference and a style thing, but obviously we see 2 cars running very close together with 2 totally different approaches.
And we've always seen that 18 car led by Matt Ross with a little bit higher down the straightaway, and then gets down exactly where that 20 is, down in the corner.
Lawless Allen runs second. Robusto in the 55 runs third.
This is going to be our battle for the remainder of the race.
He's going to try that slide job again. Not going to clear. He's going to allow her to get that. Oh, she keeps her up high. Gets really loose off. A lot going on in one corner out there. I was talking over myself.
Good run by the 28 of Brendan Queen. Trying to get to third on Robusto with 3 to go.
As a slide edge, is he going to be able to clear Isabella? He should be able to drive hard down in the corner and clear her.
Slow car as well on the outside.
Brendan Queen led much of this race. He moves into third here, but it's Brent Cruz out front by 2.6 seconds on Lawless Allen. 1 to go at IRP, the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Brent Cruz. He won back in March at Phoenix, looking for his 2nd victory of the season. Down the backstretch goes Cruz in the 18. He's got a sizable lead as he comes off turn 4. And Brent Cruz for Joe Gibbs Racing takes the checkered flag at IRP.
had two different halves. We had a first half dominated by Butterbean, and then the changes Matt Ross made at that break, I think, did the job.
Phil, before the green flag dropped, I remember you talking about the 28 and the 18 and how you couldn't talk about one without the other, and it played out tonight. Brent Cruz obviously doing a great job adapting to the racetrack, adapting to the car and his needs. It's really hard to do that. When you kind of take a beating in the first part of the race, you start to doubt whether or not you can make the improvements you need as a driver, the team needs to make to the car to go and get the win, and they executed. And they were able to make the pass at the right time, execute a few restarts, and now he's getting to celebrate with some donuts.
And remember the feedback he gave to his crew chief, Matt Ross. He said it was doing everything. He didn't know what to do, so Matt Ross took all that, deciphered it.
And maybe did a little bit of everything
and did the right changes.
Yeah, this is a really big win for Brent Cruz. Remember last week, was running second, told me after the race he felt like he had a shot to win that race until the right front tire blew. That was a big hit, big fire, had to get out of the car quickly. I'm sure this is much more preferable smoke that he's seeing today.
No fire attached to it.
Exactly. One of our storylines coming in was a bounce back opportunity, and he bounced back in the best way possible. Brent Cruz with his second victory of the season here in the ARCA Menards National Series.
Yeah, let's give a call to Lawless Allen, though, that broke up that duo and grabbed that second spot. Great job again by Lawless Allen.
Yeah, and I'll be curious to see if this changes things a little bit for our Truck Series drivers. We saw, you know, most people choosing the bottom last year, but the top seemed really good on restarts tonight. See the drivers hot. They've got to go suit up here in just a few minutes to get in a truck. Brent Cruz,
Brennan Queen, yep. Cody Dennison as well. Connor Mosak.
Yeah, about 45 minutes. They'll be going at it again for 200 laps.
Awesome. What a night. What a bounce back. Same with Lawless Allen. He finished 12th last week because of blowing a tire early in that race. He finished his second. Same for LeVar Scott. Outside of the top 10 for the first time in 17 races last week. Gets a top 5 here tonight in a bounce-back performance.
And by the way, Brent Cruz and Butterbean will start in the same row in that truck race tonight.
Okay. Some things just kind of write themselves.
You can tell Brent. He said this was a hot one.
Hot one. As Brent Cruz climbs out of the car, and he will head to victory lane in the 18. Second victory of the season. In the Calypso 150 presented by Dutch Boy here on FS1, and Amanda is standing by with the winner.
As he gets greeted by his team, I did talk to Matt Ross off camera quickly and said, what did you do to that car at the half? And he said, I did everything that I could. And Brent, the first half of this race was dominated by Brendan Queen as you guys gave us one heck of a half of racing. You were able to make that move just over 90 laps into this race. How hard did you work this race car tonight?
Really hard. I just want to thank the good Lord above for keeping us safe. There's so many race fans here tonight. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see a packed crowd. Thank you guys for coming out. I know it's really hot and grueling. I was exhausted out there, but yeah, this JGR group did an absolutely fabulous job at the break there. The 28 car was really good the first half, and honestly, I was doing everything I had to, you know, try to hang with them. And I knew we had something. I knew Matt and the crew had something up their sleeve to give me that extra little bit at the halfway break, and that's exactly what he did. But yeah, this Toyota JBL Toyota Camry was lights out tonight, and I'm grateful to be here and excited to go run the one truck tonight.
I was about to say, Brent, I don't have to remind you that your job's not done yet here tonight. When you look ahead of what's coming in this race, you'll start 13th. How much do you have left in your personal tank?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot more energy now that I won. I think I'd be more down in the dumps if I didn't, but yeah, I'm just excited to go on this journey with Toyota Gazoo Racing and drive all these cool cars. JBL and Mobile One this year is absolutely fabulous, and just ready for the rest.
2 wins for Brent Cruz and 4 races this season with the 18.
Brent Cruz, one of the young stars in racing. Arisa's sweet move of the race. This is what got it done when he made the pass in the second half of the race of the 28.
Yeah, he worked him really hard. He worked him during the first half, but he knew he had a good car. He knew he had to take advantage of the situation, and he did.
going to drive down into turn 1 after that slide we saw in 3 and 4. This is where he clears it. This is where it ended right here. That was a pass for the win.
Visit ARCARacing.com Monday, 3 Eastern to see who's crowned Reese's sweet move of the race. And Caitlin is with Butterbean.
Yeah, who brings it home in the 3rd position. What were you experiencing there and fighting against in your car towards the end of the run?
Yeah, we just got way too loose. You know, proud of the effort from these Pinnacle guys, and led a lot there, and we were a little too tight on throttle, and they wasn't like we made a big change or anything, but just enough to where I was loose in and loose off, and you can't really go nowhere. So restarts weren't going our way either. We just had to fight there to get what we could, and honestly, to get back to 3rd there after being shuffled to 5th or 6th, I feel like that's a good day for us. I hate to lose 2nd there, but super proud of everybody at PRG Chevrolet. Like I said, we were really good till we were just a little off there, and well, I guess 18 into 20, you can't be that much off, or it's just hard to get it back. So super proud of everybody, bestrepair.net, Folsom Fence Supply. You know, I'm just thankful for this opportunity, and you know, I'm sitting here with my hands on. Man, didn't even realize that. That's so happens when you rushed, right? No. So I just happy with the performance. I hate the points race, but it's a good point tonight.
Speaking of opportunities, you're not done yet. You have the Craftsman Truck Series race coming up next. What did you learn from this race you can apply?
Yeah, I mean, learned a lot. I think the track's going to be a little different at nighttime, and we need to get our truck just a little bit better than we were in practice. But going to spend the night just taking it in and try to make the most of it and learn what I can.
Thank you. Enjoy it. Butterbean with his 9th top 5 performance so far this year, guys.
And again, he's one of 4 guys, along with Brent Cruz, Cody Dennison, Connor Mozak, going to run in the Truck Series. Comes your way 8 p.m. Eastern, also here on FS1. Back to wrap things up. From IRP, Brent Cruz, 2nd victory of the season in the 18 in JGR.
Hey everyone, Kyle Petty here, and welcome to General Tire delivers ARCA's greatest moments. In 2016, under the lights at Lucas Oil, Indianapolis Raceway Park, an unknown Indiana kid named Chase Briscoe turned a hometown race into a career-defining night. Briscoe came in with confidence, and once the green flag dropped, he backed it up, leading 129 of 200 laps and showing the poise of a seasoned veteran. A red flag slowed the field after a multi-car incident, but his crew stepped up, executing a flawless pit stop to get him back out front. From there, it was all about focus. And when the checkered flag flew, Briscoe had his first ARCA Menards Series win, right there in front of a proud Indiana crowd. That gave him the momentum to carry him all the way to the ARCA Menards Series Championship later that year. I'm Kyle Petty, and thanks for watching as General Tire delivers ARCA's greatest moments. See you next time.
Sunday on Fox with a historic 3-peat on the line. Can Alex Palou become the fastest ever to lock up an Indy Series championship? Or will the pack hold him off at Laguna Seca? It all starts Sunday, 3 Eastern, only on Fox. Cruz wins, Lawless Allen 2nd. Butterbean finishing in 3rd place. 2nd victory of the season for that 18 with Cruz piloting it. Robusto a top 5, gets 4th place. Bar Scott finishes out the top 5. Good run for Connor Mozak, Isaac Kitzmiller, and Jason Kitzmiller.
How about Hunter Wright, his first ever ARCA National Series start, gets a top 10 finish, and Thad Moffitt, welcome back to the series with a top 10.
2-car Blaney Bice. We saw her have the issue early on where she had the flat left rear tire after she made up a lot of ground, started far back, drove inside the top 10, was able to recover back to an 11th place finish. Impressive run for her, one of our 6 women in the race tonight.
Sam Corey, then Tyler Reif, who had back-to-back top 5s, settles for 14th. Mason Mitchell, who of course won the ARCA Menards Series back in 2014, finishes in 15th.
Regina Servant did a nice job on the lead lap in 17th for the Kimmels.
Saw that hard hit Takuma Koga early on. Had the spin from Austin Vaughn in turns 1 and 2. Takuma couldn't get stopped and just ended his day early.
Caitlin standing by with Isabella Robusto.
What an impressive day for Isabella Robusto. Your first time here in the ARCA Menards Series with a top 5. How would you assess the day overall?
Yeah, I'd probably give myself like a B+. I feel like probably should have ended up third there at the end. Just made a couple of mistakes getting past the lappers in that last little bit. But the Venerini guys gave me a really fast Mobil 1 Toyota Camry today. And I'm a pretty big fan of this track. It's really fun, super racy, so excited to come back.
Well done. The good stretch of races for Isabella Robusto continues with the 4th place finish here today.
Well, it's been a good stretch of races for at a double top 10 finish in Dover and do it here again at IRP. And Isaac, you were telling me that you had a smile on your face when your spotter would tell you the 97 was behind you in Dover. How many times you do that tonight?
Yeah, that was super cool. Tonight it was a few times, especially there at the end. We started to have some brake issues, but this 97 and 79 team, ACR and CR7 Motorsports brought a really, really good car, and I just can't thank them enough. And thank God for all these opportunities.
Well, we'll see the father-son duo 2 more times this season, once at Iowa and then again at Bristol. Jason, how pinchable are these moments?
It's just unbelievable. Just like Isaac said, we're blessed by God to be able to do it. And, you know, like on that last restart, Timmy spotter said, make sure you know who's underneath of you, know who's underneath of you. So, you know, we didn't want to pinch him off. He was having a great night. We was just a little bit free on entry, but again, it's priceless to be able to come race with your son. We've cut the gap now from 4 to 1, so maybe we're going to turn it around.
A 7th and 8th finish for the Kitzmillers tonight. Caitlin?
It was a very solid showing for Lawless Allen and company as the runner-up here today. What more did you need to get to Brent Cruz, though, you think?
Not to buzz my tires on a restart like it was my first time, really. Just got excited with how good of a jump I saw I got and just got to the wide open a little too quick. But I feel like we had the speed in our Auto Park Toyota Camry and just a little bit short today, but certainly a lot better than crashing like we did at Dover. So.
Yes, well done. Lawless Allen continuing his consistent season. 8 top 5s for him so far this year, guys.
Man, talk about consistency. Those 4 straight 3rd place finishes before last week, and then he comes back with a 2nd. So we came on the air once again. Phil talking about the battle between the 18 and the 28. You nailed it. It was a fun one.
Yeah, this was early on when Brent Cruz got into the left rear quarter of Butterbean early in the race. Lawless Allen gets by to lead 1 lap. There's that contact. Watch Lawless Allen on the left side of the screen there to go by to take the lead.
That could have been day ending for both of those drivers. That could have taken him out. We see right here Brendan Queen working his way, swerving through traffic, didn't know which way they were going to go. Allows the 18 to close in again. This is on the final restart, or one of the later race restarts where the 18 of Brent Cruz is able to finally get to the inside, down the backstretch, into turn 3, slides up, takes that lane away from Brendan Queen.
But stays there. Stays there, that's the key.
Great drive off to set him up into turn 1.
So Butterbean comes up just short of his 5th win of the year, settling for 3rd here tonight, but continues to lead in points here in the ARCA Menards Series. But the night belongs to Brent Cruz, and he will turn around and get into the truck, and we'll see what he can do in that series here tonight.
I love that he's taking the time to sign some autographs here, even though he knows he's going to have to jump in that truck for 200 more laps.
He's just catching his breath, Phil. Do you see how I have to give him a hard time? He's still red in the face right now. We're going to have to do some more road bike rides or something to get this guy in shape, you know.
Man, it always delivers, IRP. What a fun night. Trevor Bain, Phil Parsons, Caitlin Mincy, Amanda Busick, our entire Fox Sports crew. I'm Brent Silver. So long. Coming up, the truck race, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. ARCA Menards Series next Friday night on FS1 from Iowa at 7 Eastern. And then the following week, we are headed to Watkins Glen. Brent Cruz wins at Indianapolis Raceway Park.